Hello, everyone. Mm. Someone just discovered something about you that completely shattered their previous understanding of who you are, didn't they? Not casual new information, but revelation. So unexpected and powerful that it sent literal physical shivers through them. Made their heart race, made them have to sit down and process, made them immediately reassess everything they thought they knew about you. And now they're in this obsessive loop where they can't stop thinking about you, can't stop replaying what they learned, can't stop imagining what this new knowledge means about what could be possible between you. Let me decode what's detonating in the revelation shockwave surrounding your existence right now. The first absolutely electric thing breaking through is someone just learned about your past that makes you infinitely more complex and interesting than they realized. You're probably being perceived as one thing, maybe safe, maybe simple, maybe accessible, and they just discovered layer to your history that's completely incongruent with their assumptions. And that cognitive dissonance is creating obsession. You might have past that's wilder, more accomplished, more traumatic, more adventurous than your current presentation suggests. And whoever found out is now spiraling because the person they thought they knew has been revealed as far deeper and more multidimensional. And they're simultaneously kicking themselves for underestimating you and completely captivated by wanting to know everything else they've been missing. Here's the visceral truth about what you're experiencing, even though you don't know it yet. They found out about your talent or skill that you don't advertise. You're probably someone who's exceptional at something, but doesn't lead with it, doesn't perform it, doesn't make it part of your identity in obvious ways. And they accidentally discovered evidence of your ability, saw your work, heard you perform, watched you do the thing, learned from someone else that you're actually extraordinary at this particular thing. You might be making them feel completely blindsided because competence is wildly attractive, and discovering that person you've been casually interested in is actually masterful at something is hitting them like electric shock that's rewiring their entire perception of you. What's igniting in the obsession circuits is they found out something about your character through your actions rather than your words. You're probably being discussed or discovered as having done something genuinely good that you never mentioned, helped someone significantly, made sacrifice nobody knew about, stood up for principle at personal cost, demonstrated integrity in situation where easier option was available. And whoever found out about this is experiencing chills because discovering that you're actually good person rather than just performing goodness is rare and intoxicating. You might be creating in them this desperate need to be near you because people who do right thing when nobody's watching are the exact people everyone wants in their life, and they're now obsessed with earning your regard because they've learned you're someone whose respect actually means something. This reflection demands you examine whether you've been hiding your light so effectively that people consistently underestimate you, and whether you're doing that out of humility or out of self protection, and whether being discovered is actually relief because part of you wants to be seen fully rather than continually managing other people's limited perception of who you are. You're probably being obsessed over because they found out about your financial situation being completely different than they assumed. You might be significantly wealthier than you present, or alternatively, you might be managing much more difficult circumstances than anyone realized. And either revelation is creating this spiral of recontextualization, where they're reviewing every interaction through new lens. You could be someone who dresses simply and drives modest car while having substantial assets, and them discovering you have money you don't flaunt is making them see you as both more attractive because security is appealing and more mysterious because why would someone with resources choose to live so unassumingly? What does that say about your values and priorities? What's also combusting is they found out about your connection to someone significant. You're probably being revealed as knowing, being related to, having worked with, having been involved with someone famous or powerful or influential. And that association is making them see you differently. You might be someone who dropped casual reference that didn't register at the time, but they later pieced together is less than has hone. Zero hash is greater than. And now they're spiraling about the fact that you have access to worlds or people they thought were completely separate from their reality. And that proximity to significance by extension makes you more significant in their eyes, even though your relationship to powerful person doesn't actually change who you are. What's threading through the chill-inducing discoveries is they found out you noticed them before they noticed you. You're probably being revealed as having been aware of them, interested in them, watching them long before they thought you were. And that reversal is creating obsessive energy because suddenly they're not the one who discovered you. You've been seeing them all along. You might have mentioned detail about them that you shouldn't know unless you've been paying very close attention. And that revelation that you notice things, that you care enough to observe, that you've been holding them in your awareness, is making them feel hunted in the best possible way, making them realize they're dealing with someone who sees and remembers and probably understands them better than they're comfortable with. You're probably being obsessed over because they found out about your physical capability. You might be revealed as stronger, faster, more athletic, more physically skilled than your presentation suggests. And watching you do something physical with competence is creating visceral attraction they can't control. You could be someone who moves through world without advertising your physicality, and them discovering you can actually handle yourself, that you have power and grace and capability hiding under unassuming exterior, is triggering primal attraction responses that are making them unable to stop thinking about what else you're capable of. What's particularly intense about what I'm witnessing is they found out about your vulnerability in a way that makes you more attractive rather than less. You're probably being discovered as having struggled with something: addiction, mental health, loss, failure, trauma, and instead of that information making them lose interest, it's creating depth, making you human in ways that perfect facade never could. You might be being seen as survivor rather than as damaged, and whoever found out about your history is now obsessed because they realize you've been carrying weight they couldn't see. You've been stronger than they knew. You've overcome things that would have destroyed weaker people, and that resilience is infinitely more attractive than shallow perfection. This reflection demands you examine whether you've been hiding your struggles because you think they make you less desirable, when actually sharing them with right people creates connection and respect that performing flawlessness never could, and whether it's time to stop protecting people from your complexity. You're probably being obsessed over because they found out your age and it's completely different from what they assumed. You might be much younger than you seem, carrying yourself with maturity that made them think you were their age or older, and discovering you're actually years younger is creating this intoxicating combination of being impressed by your poise and excited by your potential. Or alternatively, you might be older than you present, and that discovery is making them see you as more experienced, more sophisticated, more knowing than they realized. You could be making them spiral about what else they've misread about you. And that uncertainty, that recognition that they don't actually know you as well as they thought, is creating obsessive need to learn everything they've been missing. What's also detonating is they found out about your previous relationship in a way that changes how they see you. You're probably being revealed as having been with someone impressive or having left someone despite that person wanting you to stay, or having been pursued by multiple people simultaneously. And that information about being desired by others is making them see you as more valuable through simple social proof. You might be making them competitive, making them want to prove they can win you in ways they weren't motivated to do when they thought you were less in demand. And while that's somewhat shallow psychology, it's also effective one because humans want what others want. The obsession acceleration patterns suggest they found out something that makes them feel like they almost missed you. You're probably being revealed as someone who was about to leave, who was considering other option, who was available but not for much longer. And that scarcity is creating urgency in them. You might be making them panic about timing, making them realize they've been casually interested when they should have been actively pursuing. And that fear of loss is converting their mild attraction into consuming obsession because now they're fighting against clock they didn't know was running. What's significant is they found out you're attracted to them specifically. You're probably being discovered as having expressed interest to a mutual friend, or they overheard you say something, or they saw a message they weren't supposed to see. And knowing definitively that you want them is creating a feedback loop where your desire makes you more desirable. You might be making them feel chosen, and that specific selection of them out of all your options is intoxicating in ways that changes entire dynamic because now they're not wondering if you're interested. They know you are, and that certainty is allowing them to fully feel their own attraction without defensive uncertainty protecting them. This reflection demands you examine whether you've been hiding your interests so effectively that people miss the signals, and whether being more direct about your attraction would actually serve you better than playing it cool. because right person won't be scared away by knowing you want them. They'll be activated by it. Um, you're probably being obsessed over because they found out about your creative work. You might be writer, artist, musician, creator, who doesn't perform your art socially, who keeps your creative life private. And they accidentally discovered your work, read what you wrote, saw what you made, heard what you created. You could be revealing inner world through your art that you don't reveal in conversation. And whoever found your creative output is now obsessed because they've been given access to how you think, what you feel, what matters to you in ways that normal interaction would take years to discover. And that intimacy of seeing into your soul through your work is creating attachment that feels disproportionate to how well they actually know you in person. What I'm witnessing in the revelation aftermath is they can't stop talking about you. You're probably being discussed with their friends, brought up in unrelated conversations, referenced constantly, because what they learned about you has taken up residence in their mind and won't leave. You might be becoming their obsession in visible ways to people around them. And those observers are either encouraging them to pursue you or warning them that they're getting too fixated too fast. But either way, the conversation about you is happening constantly because they can't process what they learned without talking through it repeatedly. The chill inducing discovery patterns suggest what they found out contradicts something you explicitly said about yourself. You're probably being revealed as having lied or minimized or hidden something significant. And instead of that dishonesty being deal breaker, it's creating intrigue about why you felt need to conceal this particular thing. You might be making them curious about your motivations, about what you're protecting or what you're afraid of or what you're trying to control, about how you're perceived. And that mystery is more compelling than simple truth would have been because now they want to understand you, not just know you. So as you move through your days, unaware that someone is spiraling about information they just learned about you, understand that you're about to experience shift in how they approach you. You're probably going to notice them being more intense, more focused, more direct, is less than #0. 5# is greater than asking deeper questions, creating more opportunities to be around you, demonstrating interest that's noticeably escalated from whatever casual dynamic existed before. They might reference the thing they learned in a way that reveals they know, testing whether you'll acknowledge it or continue pretending they don't have this information about you. Trust that being discovered can be gift rather than violation. You're probably feeling some anxiety about what they know, about whether information they have about you changes how they see you in negative ways. But what I'm witnessing is the opposite. They're obsessed because what they learned makes you more interesting, more attractive, more compelling. And their inability to stop thinking about you is evidence that whatever they discovered is working in your favor rather than against you. They found out something that gave them chills. They can't stop thinking about you. They're obsessed. And that obsession is going to drive them to either pursue you more directly or to create distance because the intensity of their response is scaring them. Watch for the behavior change. It's already happening. And how they handle their obsession, whether they lean into it or run from it, is going to tell you everything you need to know about whether they're brave enough to actually handle the real you now that they've glimpsed how much more there is to you than surface presentation suggests. You're being seen, finally, fully, and whoever's seeing you can't unsee what they've learned. They're changed by knowing. The question is what they do with that change and what you do when they finally tell you they know